Hello there and welcome everybody to Topless Topics, a channel that seeks to highlight the blatant absurdity, sexism, misogyny, and transphobia of gender-based censorship, also known as Free the Nipple. I am your host Cleo, and today I want to offer some thoughts about this Reddit post called "Am I the asshole for pointing out that breasts are sexual organs to somebody who says it isn't fair that men can walk shirtless and women can't?" So those of you who follow me will know that I just got back from VidCon 2024 2 weeks ago. And currently I am hard at work making both a vlog and a review of the event. So if you are interested in my thoughts on what a f***ing dumpster fire this year was, hold tight, follow me on the socials, etc. to be notified of when that happens. Also, it is the summer. My kids are unfortunately still going to be home 24/7 for at least another 3 months. So if you hear them being noisy in the background, my apologies. That's the reality of trying to work from home. So yeah. So anyway, onto this post. This was linked to me in our Discord room, which you can join at toplesstopics.org/chat. And rather than type a whole bunch of thoughts into the Discord for just the people who already agree with topless equality, I thought it would be more fun and interactive to do a little video about it. So first of all, let's read the post. Today, I came across a comment on a post in the pet peeves subreddit that read, "They men walk around with no top at all and that's somehow less sexual than women." Yep! I responded to this by saying, because there are no sexual organs underneath for a man. What a stupid thing to say. The thoughts already. Want to respond, but let's get through the post first. They then replied, "Boobs aren't for sex," to which I replied with a link to Psychology Today, explaining the fact that the breasts are sexual organs. I was then muted for a month due to having a low-effort post, which demonstrated a conspicuous lack of a coherence, intellectual deficiency, or a nonchalant approach to the subject. To be clear, I was not referring to cleavage. People who have a problem with cleavage need to get over themselves. I was responding to a Redditor arguing that it doesn't make sense that it is less sexual for a man to walk shirtless than a woman. Am I the asshole? So to begin with, this has 80 comments and 0 upvotes, so that's a hopeful sign that most people who read this realize how fucking bullshit it is. I am going to look at the comments in a second, but first of all, my first impressions just off reading that. As I mentioned, I did just go to VidCon, and while as a whole it was a pretty not great year, one of the highlights was that I had a meet and greet with Forrest Valkai, who does a lot of videos about evolution, about the absurdity of the idea that there's just male, female, like how diverse the variety is, not just in non-humans but in humans as well. And when I met him, I introduced the idea of my channel, and I said I would be honored if I was ever able to interview you, but even if I can't, I would love for you to do a video someday talking about how nonsensical and, unscientific the idea of sexual organs is. And he actually seemed really enthusiastic about the idea. He wasn't sure if he would have the time for an actual interview, but he seemed interested in at least covering the subject someday when he has time. And I said I would be so grateful if he did, because when I see shit like this, with his Psychology Today article, I could just be like, here is a, hour and a half long video about why your opinions on sexual organs are bullshit. But as you can already find out by looking at other articles or even just using your brain, the idea of sexual organ is such a nebulous, nonsensical idea that is completely subjective and is just basically used for whatever attitude you already feel, and that you feel like well, I said this, therefore it's true. There is no such thing as a sexual organ as a hard defined thing. Any body part that people are turned on by could be considered a sexual organ. Feet, necks, lips, elbows, it doesn't matter. There are going to be people out there who find whatever it is sexual. And then you might say, well, most people don't find that sexual. Ethnocentrism because what you most likely as an American don't find sexual, a lot of other cultures will. And second of all, what is the cutoff? How many people, how many men have to find a body part on a woman sexual before that counts as, you know, an actual sexual organ? In addition to that, how is you finding a body part sexual an excuse for gender-based censorship? Do you think that gay men do not find male chest sexual? Do you not think that straight women find male chest sexual? Do you not think that bisexual women, anyone who is attracted to so-called male chest, you think that they don't find a good set of pecs, you know, attractive? Is Taylor Lautner ripping his shirt off in Twilight, or, you know, Thor? Countless examples of big, ripply, muscly dudes pulling the shirts off at any fucking opportunity, not meant to be sexual? Like, huh? Third of all, let me tell you a secret. Nipples between all genders are identical. Even the stuff underneath is identical. Trans women, or just men who take the, you know, people assigned male at birth who have the appropriate hormones, can produce milk. Look it up. The biology, the physiognomy, the parts in the boob that you can't even see this if you're watching this on YouTube. I should have probably thrown that in earlier. If you're watching this on YouTube, you are watching the patriarchy approved version where I have to cut out my heinous female nipples because YouTube hates women, just like every mainstream platform, and does not give us the same rights as men. Moving on. Nipples are functionally, biologically f***ing identical. And even if we're pretending that sexual organ is a thing, there is literally no biological difference between male and female nipples. It's only a matter of which hormones you get, which, guess what? Even cis women sometimes need hormones to get the milk flowing. Why do you think lactation is such an issue for so many new mothers? I'm getting so heated up, I'm having a hard time finishing a thought. But yeah, so those are first three things that pop up just reading this. Nipples are functionally identical. You being sexually attracted to something is not an excuse to give the people with that organ or whatever fewer rights than you get. And the idea of sexual organs in general is bullshit. Let's look at some comments. Starting off strong. You are the asshole, but it's almost not your fault for not having the capacity to understand. Erogenous areas are not equal to sexual organs. Yeah! You're the asshole, they aren't. They are for feeding babies. Makes me think of the quote. I wish I could find an exact example of it, but essentially someone said somewhere that it's pretty sucky that the only time women are allowed to have our nipples visible online and in public is if we have a baby attached or if they've been gored off by a mastectomy or whatever. Meanwhile, men can show their nipples f***ing anywhere with literally no consequences. That's fair. By the way, if you are new to Topless Topics, I am not always this over the top. I am feeling a little anxious, both about this subject and just a bunch of stuff going on in my personal life, so I'm a little extra wound up, but maybe it's more entertaining this way. I don't know. Let me know. Leave a comment. Is it better if I act like a jack like this, or do you like my calmer content? Let me know, and we'll see how the future bears out. Of course, they can be sexualized, but that is true of any body part. Just consider foot fetishists or the Victorian thing about ankles. You can't declare something obligately? I think they mean like, obviously, I don't know. Sexual because someone might get off at the sight of it, because that is true of anything. Consider also that men can get pleasure from having their nipples touched, so that's not an argument either. True, and also that makes me think of the other point that I point out, where women, we're not allowed to have our nipples. I cannot post this video on YouTube without cutting it off at the shoulders. Me just sitting here, that's enough to get me banned for sexually explicit material meant for sexual gratification, etc., etc., etc. Whereas a video or a picture or whatever of a man, he can be like, you know, like fucking touching his chest, whether it's for comedy or just like slow-mo, you know, whatever. He can be doing whatever the he wants with his chest, and somehow that's not intended for sexual gratification. You patriarchy. Anyway, yes, they are secondary sex characteristics, but so are beards and Adam's apples. and no one is making men hide their necks when they have one. Sorry, that was mean. Sorry, I take it back. Not all neck beards are fucking gamergator types, okay? It's not about how you look, it's about whether or not you're a fucking asshole. Everyone deserves love except for incels. Fun fact, some African cultures where toplessness is normal think us Westerners must have childlike mentalities for finding boobs attractive. In Muslim countries, they consider head hair sexual and hide it. Some put the entire woman under a burqa. Meanwhile, in some countries like Finland, it's totally normal for people to be naked in the sauna together without any sexual component to it. Unless you want to declare some cultures better than others, the only logical solution is to leave it up to the individual people what they would like to cover or expose. I always find it funny when people want to declare something biological that isn't even true for other cultures. As I said, ethnocentrism, get your head out of your f***ing American selfish puritanical ass. Man, maybe this video is a mistake. Maybe I shouldn't make a video right now when I'm already so irritated, but you know what? I kind of find making videos cathartic, and it's this or just like cry into a pillow. Again, not because of this post, because of other stuff going on. If you follow me on social media, you know what's going on. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. You know, try something different, right? Try something different. It's not like I'm Mr. Beastifying everything. You're the apple. You're the apple. Breasts in both men and women are secondary sexual organs. It is only due to misogyny that women's breasts have been sexualized despite being the ones that have an actual functioning use that requires the need to be unclothed breastfeeding. Puritanical beliefs have been pushed on everyone for too long. Another point that makes me think of, as I say, topless inequality is not only sexist, misogynistic, etc., it is also transphobic. Because at what point in transition does someone gain or lose the right to take their shirt off online and in public? At what point does someone look sufficiently male that suddenly it's okay? How does that relate to non-binary people? How is it not telling, for instance, an assigned female at birth non-binary person or trans man, well, I think you still look like a woman, therefore you deserve less rights. It's just right there, right? What is your counter, huh? Unless you're transphobic, what is your counter to that? How do you say, yes, female chests deserve less rights than men because female nipples are sexual organs, blah, 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 without being transphobic? Riddle me that. Back to the comments. Men derive pleasure from breast nipple stim as well. Yep. You're the asshole. Women have even more of a reason to go topless in public than men, given that breasts are for breastfeeding babies. Breasts are secondary sex characteristics, but that doesn't make them sexual. Indeed, they are that, not sex organs. Armpit hair is also a secondary sex characteristic. Guess it must be sex organs too. Sarcasm. That is one of the things that's so funny about sex characteristic, because even pretending that was a like scientific thing you could qualify, basically anything that changes in puberty could be considered a sexual characteristic. So like someone else was saying, Adam's apple, voice getting deeper, pubic hair, all this other stuff, beards, etc. That stuff doesn't generally, unless there's something going on like a hormone, imbalance or something like that, that stuff doesn't happen till puberty. Why is it that women are forced to cover our chests as secondary sexual characteristics, but men can have full Gimli from Lord of the Rings beards, which you cannot grow without hormones, without puberty? That's not sexual. Like, what? What? Maybe take just a bit of a second to think about the fact that your attitude that female nipples are sexual and male nipples aren't is completely rooted in puritanical misogyny. It is. Sorry, it is. Yep, it is. Okay. Breastfeed babies, I don't find that fact sexual whatsoever. Organs, check. Do I love a great set of bazongas anyway? Why, yes I do. Desired sexuality, check. Do I consider them a sexual organ that should elicit exposure rights and conduct differing from those of a man? X. Let's see how popular or unpopular this take will be. 14 upvotes. Pretty good. Oh, deleted by OP. Now this was my mistake. I absolutely should have mentioned this in a post. Breastfeeding is a basic and necessary function that should be absolutely tolerated. That is the exception. Only if the woman is being a broodmare. Only if she is propagating the species is she allowed to have the same rights as men. And only if a boob is currently being suckled like a baby, by a baby, like a baby, by a baby. If the other nipple is visible, if she only has one child, only one nipple attached to the baby, then the other one remains sexual. Only if there is literally a baby blocking view is it not sexual. This is a very intelligent opinion to have. I am not misogynistic or illogical at all. I'm not a man hater, I'm a in this particular kind of dude hater. I have many wonderful men in my life, and thank God I can't say I know anyone particularly this bad, because if I did, get the out. Bye. My point is, there is a reason they are covered up. They are defined as sexual organs. By who? By who, OP? Who defines them as a sexual organ? It is just a fact. I said so, therefore it is. There is a reason why it's considered pornographic. 21 downvotes. About to be 22! I am not recording my screen as I did this. That just occurred to me that might have been a good idea, but oh well, we're half over, let's just get through it. Reply, they're absolutely not sex organs, that is just a fact. Google for God's sake, it's easy to check, so easy, I'm guessing you're a troll. Or just an idiot in shell. There's a lot of them, there's a lot of them. They don't wanna look at stuff that disagrees with their worldview. If it goes against their worldview, then it's fake news, Oh look, he linked to a Psychology Today article. You know what? Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Sexual wiring of women's breasts. Neuroscientists established breasts as sexual organs. Found that self-stimulation of the nipples lights up the same brain areas as stimulation of the clitoris, vagina, and cervix. You know, I'm not even going to read the full thing, but already my impression is that this article is about women's, again, they obviously mean assigned female at birth when they wrote this, but oh, and it's written by a old cis white man. Surprising. Anyway, I am spitting on my screen. Holy First of all, I'm assuming this study was only on women and does not discount the fact that the same fucking shit happens with male nipples. Breast volume increases during sexual arousal in addition to change in the areal and erection of the nipples. Well, obviously, if your nipples are getting erect, it's gonna make it smaller because surface area and stuff like that. Guess what else gives me hard nipples? Cold weather. Does that mean that I am overcome with lust every time I go outside in the cold or even slightly cold and my nipples get hard? Does that mean that I'm like, oh, gotta jump on a dick right now? What a fucking stupid... Okay, anyway, we're not gonna read the rest of that. Back to the comments. Well, that's just great. Now we're gonna have to play with men's nipples while they're in an MRI machine to determine if they can go topless or not. What do you mean? I'm downvoting every comment by this piece of shit. He deleted his account. Snowflake. Some men's nipples are responsive to sexual stimulation, but the brain has to be mapped, but if your nipples are tied to sexual arousal, it makes them a sex organ, right? Looks like you didn't even read your own article, Rottelfmau. What is, wait, rolling? Oh, rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off. There we go. Man, I should know that. I am old. Oh, child, grow up and at least take a high school biology class before you try to have an adult conversation. Yes, your point has been made. I agree and I was wrong. Thank you for the info. Women, quoting the dude, women can receive sexual pleasure from breast stimulation. True is not the same as female breasts are inherently sexual. False. Men can get off on nipple play too. This isn't specific to women. Citing Psychology Today isn't the slam dunk you think it is, and by your logic, men should also be required to wear shirts in public. Honestly, one of these days I'm gonna officially do a video that's just like frequently, not even frequently asked questions, but like frequently offered counter arguments to why we should maintain the status quo of female nipples are banned as sexually explicit nudity, but male nipples aren't. But as this mentions, I have trolls think that they do a slam dunk by saying, rather than argue for women to be able to go topless, why don't you just argue for men to have to wear shirts too? And while I personally think that sexualizing actual nudity as in genitals also is absurd, I just want equality, man. If also banning male chests is the only way we achieve equality, so be it. But I feel like it makes more sense to just give people who look female the exact same rights as people who look male. I know, what a fucking radical concept, man. I don't know what's wrong with me thinking that women deserve the same rights as men. I don't know. Why am I like this? You did it to me, Dad! The reason they are covered up as misogyny, that's just a fact. Are you a misogynist? After reading that post, is there any question? A fact? Was this supposed fact always so, or did it evolve into a misconstrued notion that they are sexual by their mere ability to either arouse or be aroused? I'm not so sure the word fact is used correctly in this context. Thank you! You're the asshole, but not necessarily on purpose. Breasts are completely irrelevant for sexual reproduction. Men also have breasts, nipples, and male and female breasts both develop in the same way. In fact, all bodies begin as female, and then later on, if the chromosome is introduced, they become male. But again, I could link to some Forrest Valkai videos where he goes into even more detail about that. But yeah, like dudes like this who are just like, female nipples are sexual organs and male nipples aren't, it is fact. Don't fucking, they wouldn't pass 5th grade biology. So yeah, breasts are a secondary sex characteristic, as are things such as widened hips on females and Adam's apples on and facial hair on males. What exactly are you suggesting the sexual organs below female breasts are? IMO, in situations where it's acceptable for men to be topless, then it should also be acceptable for women to be topless, e.g. a beach. And then their response, when I said underneath, I meant underneath clothing. Cool. Breasts are not organs for reproduction. Thank you! You could have no breasts at all and pop out babies. Didn't know if you knew that. Didn't know if you knew that. I know that. You're just saying things you don't what you are talking about. Very little research is required to say that psychology pins breasts as sexual organ. He just keeps linking to the same Psychology Today thing that doesn't even support his argument. He is very smart. I would encourage everyone to read this as it outlines several reasons why breasts are scientifically sexual organs. See, this is the thing about the Am I the Asshole subreddit that isn't always true but tends to be. When people post here, they already have a clear idea of whether they're the asshole or not, and I would venture to say that basically anyone posting on here thinks that they are not in fact the asshole. So it doesn't really matter what you post, you're not going to change their mind. However, I still appreciate seeing posts like this because it is gratifying to know that there are at least this many people out there who don't have their heads up their misogynistic asses so far that they think it makes sense to ban female nipples but not male nipples. So I appreciate all these people. If I had money, I would give them all Reddit gold. I don't really use Reddit, but I would give them all Reddit gold for not being a asshole. Yeah. But yeah. Article says they didn't even study men to see if they had an equivalent brain response. Of course not. They don't want to distract from their conclusion that female nipples are sexual. You're saying women shouldn't be allowed to walk around shirtless, and I'm the one who doesn't know what I'm talking about? Thank you. This is not an argument. Did you read this? Did you see the evidence? Did you do your research? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna calm down. All right, I am amazed that my kids have not run into the room to ask if I'm okay yet. I did tell them that I was recording a video and asked them to be quiet, but I am not usually this animated, so I love you guys! Oh, okay. I think they know I'm being silly for the camera. I mean, oh, no, don't come in, please. I love you. I'm almost done. All right, anyway. The majority of the backing is that stimulation of the nipples is pleasurable to most women, which is true. It also states that it's pleasurable for men, but there's less research on it. It also states that they're visually pleasing for most men. A lot of men love nipple stimulation. A lot of women find pecs to be very attractive. Does that make the male chest a sex organ? You also posted in a subreddit to ask for validation, and you're having a hissy fit that someone doesn't agree with you. Like I literally just said. And then they link to a bunch of stuff about men, including male nipple stimulation, including is it true men can lactate? Right in there. Right in there. Oh, wow. Wow. OP said, this is interesting. Thank you. I see your side. Really? I'm gonna give him an upvote for that. I know his account got deleted, but even just that little bit of admitting that maybe they're wrong is fucking amazing. Oh, and put your shirt on or STFU. Sorry, them's the facts. You're the asshole. There are indigenous people where women walk around topless and nobody cares. This weird sexual fixation on breasts is 100% the result of socialization and not law of nature because they are sexual organs or whatever. I will never understand why society is so afraid of boobs. If women could go topless easily as men, people would pretty quickly get used to it again. Hey! hair, elbows, feet, ankles, blah, 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 blah. And even though there's a significant amount of dudes out there who get off on women's feet, you'll notice that we're still allowed to wear sandals. Yeah, who sets the fucking arbitrary list of what is too sexual to show? It's simple, we want the exact same fucking rights as men. What is so hard to understand about that? I said I was gonna calm down and then I totally didn't. I'm sorry. Let's see. Men would pretty quickly get used to it and it would be no big deal. Another video that I need to do someday in the future, even though I have really been pushing against the label of nudist. See my video why I stopped calling myself a nudist for more details on that. I do need to do a video at some point answering things like the comment that I frequently see where, how can I go in a nudist place? This comes from men, obviously. How can I go to a nudist place without getting erection? I'll just give you the answer real quick, based on answers from other men, nudist men or whatever. It's gonna happen at first because our society is so like shameful or whatever towards male erections. But here's the thing, just because you have an erection is not permission to touch yourself sexually. It's kind of just the thing you gotta get over. I mean, teenage boys go through it. My freaking 6-year-old is already going through it where sometimes he just has a little baby boner. And you know what? It's not sexual. It's just a response. It's just blood, you know, whatever. But the thing is, you do it, you get through it. Not do it as in touch yourself, but do it as in, you know, you get an erection you don't want. You get through it, and then pretty soon you just stop caring. You stop caring. Just like if women were allowed to go topless online and in public the way that men are, you'd stop caring. You know, go to the park. You see dudes running around jogging. You see them playing volleyball. Like I was at the park with my kids the other day, and there was a whole like 20 dudes all with their shirts off. Nobody was like, oh my god, because male nipples are everywhere to the point where you just don't even notice them. We will get to that. For female nipples, believe it or not, if women were allowed the same exact rights as men, I don't know, in a year? You know, it depends on the area, it depends on how frequently women were to exercise that right, but it's not this, like, this fucking incel keeps saying, like, hard-coded fact, biological fact, that female nipples are sexual. It's fucking not. It's cultural, it's misogynistic, it's puritanical, it is not written in stone, and you are engaging in a circular catch-22 bullshit if you're like, well, I find female nipples sexual, therefore they're sexual organs, therefore they deserve less rights. You cannot consider yourself a logical being if that's your viewpoint. Them's the rules. Okay. I'm just gonna blast through the rest of these. If a new thing comes up that isn't basically replying, you know, previous stuff or whatever, we will comment on it. Otherwise, it's a lot of the same. Let's finish this comment. Okay, there's nothing inherently sexual about seeing a breast or a penis. Do you think seeing a dog's penis is sexual? It's just another body part, or part of the body, that's all. Someone replied, please, no, just no, I need eye bleach as it is. The sight of penises affects you that much? That sounds like a you problem, buddy. It's just a fucking dick. I feel like if anything is inherently sexual, it is the organ that is involved in sex. I don't know why this actually has downvotes, because yeah, OP wrote it, but he kind of just, he just ruined his own point, because female nipples are not involved in sex. Finding something sexually arousing does not mean it's involved in sex. Again, you don't even fucking need nipples to get pregnant and have a baby, or to cause a pregnancy. If you pull a woman's hair, or like, I don't know, lick her feet or whatever during sex, if that gets you off, does that mean that her hair is now sexually profane too? Like, dude, just read your own fucking comments, you So what you're saying is if you use your mouth during sex, you should keep it covered in public? Yes, absolutely, you should do I like this person. The rest of us will be over here when, I think I meant where it's sane. No, it'll make sense. Breasts are perfectly sexual to shed arousing humans. The fact the mouth is not. Let's take a shot. I mean, I'm not drinking right now because I'm trying to discourage my husband from drinking. That's a whole thing. But if I was drinking, let's take a shot every single time this fucking in-shell links to the same psychology. It's like anti-vaxxer who like finds some wackadoo pharmacist saying that vaccines cause autism, blah blah blah, and is like, see, this person said it. It's true. It's true. This person said it. Okay. Hurry. Male nipples are also sensitive and show signs of sexual arousal. If that's your argument, put your shirt on. You don't have to do double standards. It's your cupcake. Is there any evidence that says women are sexually aroused by male nipples? What kind of evidence would you like, buddy? Would you like to see women's brains light off when they see male nipples? Would you like to see gay men? Nobody's fucking mentioned gay men that I can recall. Nobody's mentioned fucking dudes being turned on by other dudes' nipples. Like, it hasn't even registered with them, which again begs the question, are they just simply not even thinking about it? Or do they think that it doesn't count if it's men being attracted to other men's nipples? Like, what? What? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Take for the info, ask question, answers, ask before look. I'm 15? So OP is 15 and he's already this fucking misogynistic. I can only hope that some tiny part of his pituitary gland is looking at all these responses about why his attitude is bullshit, and maybe just for like a split second thinks, maybe I'm wrong? Maybe I should question my patriarchal, misogynistic, puritanical upbringing and consider that, you know, my existing opinion is maybe not the end-all scientific, biological, factual attitude, and maybe I should kind of reconsider? Probably not. I mean, cis men in general, but especially teenage cis men, not known for their skills of self-reflection. Hashtag not all teenage men. Don't start with that bullshit. I don't know if that makes you feel better when you say condescending things like, oh child, to people, but you've made your point. Thank you. I apologize. You were right. I've been civil to you and I'm just asking you to return the favor. Holy fucking snowflake, Batman. Jesus, get over yourself, buddy. You are a cis male, probably white. Clearly you have some economic advantage because you're writing this shit on Reddit, and yet you're that offended by someone saying, oh child. Get over yourself. Goodbye. I mean, seriously, you come in here to dehumanize my entire gender, and now you're pissed off because I called you a child. Get over yourself and do some growing up. Next time, do your homework first. I love it. I love it. All right, some more links to stuff like, why do men have nipples? You're the asshole. Every structure is sexual organ. I like having my ears nibbled. Should I cover them? Why should we cover things just because they're sexual anyway? Take a shot. 4th time he's linked to f***ing Psychology Today. Do your research. Post the same one article posted 10 years ago. Thank you. Upvote. Okay, let's do the research. Link to PsycNet, APA, which looks, American Psychological Association, so little less pop psychology than literally Psychology Today. That is an actual fucking scientific paper, so obviously I can't read the whole thing, but the abstract says research on nipple erection shows that men and women perceive female nipple erection both cue and trigger, blah blah blah, has not examined what male nipple erection cues or elicits. In this study, male models with and without nipple erection were used as stimuli, and men and women were asked what emotions these stimuli elicited. So this was asking, are women turned on by male nipples, it sounds like. Yeah, there you go, right there. And again, they didn't even consider men looking at male nipples. Yeah. Kid out here in the world, it's not impressive that you know what primary literature is. You found an article about how men and women respond to images of hard male nipples. That's the entire scope of the study. This says literally nothing about breast being a sexual organ or anything else, any other conclusion than those made by the PI and their collaborators or conjecture on your part, and you didn't even read the article, just the abstract. The article is behind a paywall. My dude, I teach science for a living. My job requires me to read piles primary literature. You're not going to intimidate anyone into believing your argument's right by throwing up the first abstract that you found when you entered titties into Google Scholar, especially if you don't understand what it says. Try harder. Somebody's triggered. Literally, it's a link to the thing. Okay, let's turn to the research link, and oops, it shows you're wrong. And then this fucking cis male. We know it's a cis male, straight cis male. We know it. I'm not wrong. Cis male. Goes on like that. Yeah. Triggered. Triggered. I teach it. I teach anatomy for a living. I've done my research. Why is it that the people who always talk about like doing their research are always like the most fucking wrong about science? Googling around until you find a pop psychology article that agrees with you is not doing your research. That is confirmation bias. That is a elemental philosophical fallacy, and I'm sorry if you think that you're super smart, etc., because you did that, because you are not. You're the asshole. Breasts are no way sort of sexual organs. Mammary glands produce not sexual have been sexualized. Appreciate you. Take a shot! Fifth time is linked to the same article. I found one that agrees they're part of sex act for women and men, so put your shirt on or shut up. You don't get to have double standards. A post indicates studies have shown self-stimulation and nipples to result activation, blah, 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 has not been tested or subject to peer review, but on top of my head I can point out some significant flaws. Sexual intercourse is still possible without some stimulation, self or otherwise, of the nipples, so at best the breast could be considered a secondary or tertiary option in the sexual process. If the nipples must be stimulated, then must not the body parts performing the stimulation, lips, tongue, hand, fingers, toes, also be considered part of the sexual process? Given that, per the author, no mapping has yet been done of the male brain regarding male breast stimulation and sexual responsibility to consider female breast part of sexual process should not be necessary to consider male breast similar until additional research has been conducted. Again, of course they're not going to do that because they don't want to find research, they don't want to find scientific effects that differ from their precluded opinions about the subject. You're the asshole and deserve the mute. Purely because you said, what a stupid thing to say, completely missing the point. Not that women should walk around with their tits out, but that our bodies are policed so much that tits are inherently sexual to people like you who can only see them as a sexual organ and not an actual product of nature to feed their offspring. A man's nipples and areolas can be just as protrusive and distracting as a woman's. Again, you got into the colds. You see fucking male nipples hard everywhere. It doesn't even have to be cold. Like, I will be at the fucking mall and I'll watch a guy, not watch, but like see a guy walk by wearing a thin shirt with his nipples just, and yet he's not shamed into wearing a bra, and he could whip his shirt off. Maybe not at the mall, but you know, as soon as he step outside of the mall, he could whip his shirt off, and people might be like, why are you shirtless? But he's not going to get banned. He's not going to get arrested. He's certainly not going to get that video taken down on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. Someone posts it online because he looks like he has a penis, therefore he's allowed to go talk. What else is there to say, really? A man's nipples and areas, which is go ask what a baby breasts are for. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. They aren't sexual organs. They are used for reproductive purposes. Are they sexy to look at? Yes, but both men and women have breasts. Men are just way flatter than women's. Except if they have, I can't even remember what it's called, but there was a study, actually, I just saw a link recently, that the most people who get gender affirmation surgery, children, is in fact boys who have that hormone or whatever it is that gives them breasts, that gives them large chests or whatever. They are the ones who get the most surgery as children. It's not even gender reassignment, trans, whatever. It's literally AMAB, born as male, identify as male, who, because of whatever hormone or whatever, are still growing breasts, and so they get the breast cut off so that they fit into the male stereotype. They're the ones getting the most surgery. So yeah, saying, you know, women's boobs, female nipples are sexual, men's aren't because, one, they have fat around them. Not true, because lots of dudes, again, fat dudes, large dudes, there's fat dudes out there with bigger boobs than I have, and yet they're not required to wear a shirt. And second of all, someone can be f***ing flat as, you know, flatter than the average male, flatter than the average pecs, and yet if they look female, they'll still be required to wear a shirt. My sons have long hair, and they are currently 6 and 8 years old. As they get older, considering, you know, assuming that they have long hair but haven't hit puberty yet, how many people are going to look at them, think that they're girls, because apparently all you have to do to look like a girl is have long hair. I mean, they constantly get misgendered as it is, and just be like, oh, those are sexual. That child has sexual nipples because they have long hair, therefore I think they look female. Oh, what's that? They're male? Oh, suddenly they're not sexual anymore. Alright, I feel like the Joker today. But the one from the cartoon, not the cool one played by Heath Ledger. R.I.P. Don't call them sexual organs knowing they're not. Read the title you wrote, for fuck's sake. Oh, I never said it wasn't. Actively said it wasn't. And people who think breastfeeding is sexual are idiots. One article from 2013 isn't the amazing proof you think it is. You're the apple and a garden variety of misogynist. Breasts are not sexual organs. Put a shirt on. Most men in this particular wine have bigger breasts than I do. You're the asshole. Breasts are sexual organs for both. Not the asshole for having an opinion. I am 100% for equality. Women should be able to go topless just like men can, and they should be required to sign up for the selective service and drafted right along with men should a draft ever be used again. Good old meninist argument that I should be able to hit a woman. They're equal. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? I mean, I'm glad that they said that women should be allowed to go topless just like men, but what a weird thing to throw in. And he has 0 upvotes, so nobody else agreed with him either. It looks like not the asshole. You know it, I know it, and Madison Avenue has known it for a long time. The mere fact that billions of people think of them as sexual makes them sexual. -4. Even OP says, I get what you're saying, but just because people think they're sexual doesn't mean they're sexual. The thing that establishes them as sexual is the actual scientific evidence. Same fucking link. What is that? 6 shots? I am dead of alcohol poisoning now, pretending I was actually drinking. Not the asshole. Mans has no idea where he is and what's about to happen. So why did he say not the asshole? Not the asshole. Feminists 100 years ago, women need the right to vote. Feminists today, women should be topless. Clown. Yes, women should have the same rights as men. Misogynists are truly a wonder. Like, they just write the most nonsense thing and then think they have a slam dunk. Same with anti-gun control advocates, anti-vaxxers, all that shit. They write the most nonsensical takes and then they just go, and what can you do but pity them? What can you do? This is a terrible way of putting it. You're hardly even saying anything. That was OP. Even OP was like, what? They're actually doing the same thing you were doing. You don't like that mirror they are holding up. Perhaps you should re-examine your stance. Thank you. And that's pretty much it. So, yeah, what did we learn today, class? This was 3 days ago. Holy shit. This is 3 days ago and it has 80 comments. And so far he had, what, like 4 people say not the asshole, and every single one of them was a misogynist. One of them was in fact a triggered scientist. Oh my god, how do you think you link to a thing and that you think that makes your point, blah blah blah. I'm glad that y'all shared this link with me, because like I keep saying, it does give me hope that maybe someday far into the future, we can establish parity. We can give the exact same fucking topless rights to people who look female as to people that look male. The problem is, of course, without going on, and I did not write a script or anything for this, obviously, so I don't want to get too in the weeds about it, but the problem is that we are stuck in this catch-22 where the capitalists, the commercial interest, think that it's too divisive to give women the same rights as men, so they don't show female nipples, and so YouTube, etc., wanting that sweet commercial money, also continues to ban female nipples, etc. And so even though people are, like this, agreeing or whatever, so far it is, well, according to the capitalists, it is against their bottom line to extend equality to people who look female. So if you want to see that change, you gotta be loud. You gotta be loud and proud. There's not that many options monetarily to take a stance on this, but if you are just fucking noisy about it enough, we will convince the companies, we will convince the commercial powers that be that they would in fact make more money if they did give people the same rights. Like fucking, I think it was Adidas, years ago, they put out an ad where they showed a whole bunch of female chests. I actually did videos about that, more detail. I will link, well, I will put the link here on the YouTube version, because if I actually link to my own website, YouTube will give me a fresh link for linking to porn. If I link to my own website simply for having female nipples in them, YouTube will give me a strike for linking to porn, because again, YouTube hates women. Anyway, and hates me in particular. See toplesstopics.org/ban for hundreds of screenshots of me getting banned on every platform you heard of and some you haven't, always and only for the heinous unforgivable sin of female looking nipples. Where was I? I don't know. I don't remember what I was going. You know what? This is enough. This video's long enough. I don't even know. It's probably gonna be. I already can see this video getting linked to on, like, I don't know, our cringe. Is that even? That's probably a separate. I don't know. I don't use Reddit. But you know what? Whatever. If it gets even just one person to think about the bullshit of gender-based censorship, then it's worth it. It's worth the humiliation, because I don't know about you, I've been doing this for 10 years and it just feels like women's rights are getting taken away faster and faster. So why am I bringing up topless equality when there's so much worse shit happening to women? Because it's part and parcel for the patriarchy. Part and parcel for the patriarchy. I feel like I need to make that into a t-shirt. By the way, I do make t-shirts, so go to toplesstopics.org/store if you'd like to see the shirts that I designed. Anyway, part and parcel for the Peter Pepper picked a peck of pickle peppers. Peter Pepper picked a peck of pickle peppers. But usually I can do that. It is part and parcel of the patriarchy to say, I forgot my train of thought. Okay, we're done. Like if you like, share with your friends, share with your enemies, share with the powers that be, make your own video response or just comment, you know, etc. Feed the algorithm, give me some sweet social media engagement so that maybe my videos can actually show up for other people. Join the Topless Topics Discord if you are not a fucking incel or anti-vaxxer or other variety of asshole. Go to toplesstopics.org/chat. I do live stream. Right now, my live stream schedule is only on Fridays, 12 to 3 p.m. PST at twitch.tv/Seri.game, C-E-R-I got game. Here's the link. I would like to stream more, but because my kids are home 24/7, it is hard. And yeah, I'm trying to get more videos out. I'm trying to get them higher quality. I'm trying to actually script stuff, even though I hate scripting. I am trying to arrange more interviews. It's just that everything is chaotic right now with my kids home 24/7, my dad dying of cancer, a bunch of stuff like that. But yeah, hold tight. Give me the creative juice of actually engaging with my content so that I don't feel like I'm just talking to nobody. Go to toplesstopics.org and search for the topic of your interest to find videos that may or may not be about that video. And if there's a subject that I've not yet covered that you want to hear my thoughts about, leave it in a comment. Like if you like, I already said that. Subscribe, go to toplesstopics.org and find the link to my Trom PeerTube page to watch the patriarchy unapproved version of my videos if you are watching this on the YouTubes. And alright, cool. I'm done. Bye! Hopefully it is working. I don't know. I can't tell, but I am tired of spending time trying to figure this out. So let's go! Hi there and welcome everybody to Topless Topics, the channel. I'm out of practice. And I said, you know, I would be honored if I was ever so you can't declare some things